world has changed. America has changed. If something were to happen tomorrow, how self-sufficient would you be? Could you grow your own food? Could you sustain your own livestock? Could you survive? This is the WeGrowOurs show with Nick and Don. Nick and Don talk about everything from politics to planting. They cover techniques, methods, and tips on how to not only survive, but thrive. Visit the website at WeGrowOurs.com. Lock and load. This is the WeGrowOurs show. Get your grow on.
Welcome back to the WeGrowOurs show. Did you miss us?
It's 2015, baby.
2015, and we're all lean and mean.
Oh, we came out of the chute with Will Allen.
Yep.
I mean, how cool is that?
Wait a minute. Did I just say lean and mean?
Yeah, we're not lean.
No. Especially not after the holiday season.
No.
I ate like a pig.
Yeah,
I ate
a lot of rabbit.
like a pig. Oh, yeah. My stepdad, he got a brand new smoker. And
You were telling me. Yes. A Traeger, right?
That's right, a Traeger.
Oh.
And we marinated this rabbit in some Lowry's urban garlic. It's a 30-minute marinade that we actually, I think it was in there for 24 hours before we put it on the smoker.
Nice.
So, super marinated, and threw it on the smoker for like an hour and a half-ish, somewhere around there. Nothing real long, but just enough to really taste
Give it that nice smoky flavor.
Oh,
those are such good grills, too.
Gosh, it was delicious. Everybody in the house is like, best meat they'd ever had.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
So
one of the, I've got a bunch. I just harvested some tilapia.
Mm-hmm.
We should try it and smoke some of those.
I think so. We'll have to, maybe WeGrowOurs should invest some money in a smoker.
I think that's a wonderful idea. I'll keep it at my house. I'll take that hit on you. No problem. I'll store it for you. I've got plenty of land. It can sit right out and back. No problems at all.
That's not what I was thinking more of.
It was your idea, and I love it.
Having it at my place.
You know what we could do is we should mount it in the back of the truck so we can meet for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
And just go around the valley, invite fans over. If you live in Phoenix, just come on out. We're going to be in the parking lot. Bring a paper plate.
Seriously.
We'll cook up some rabbit.
We're going to
do
beef. Do you think they'd
Do I think we'd get arrested? Yeah, probably.
Well, think of it this way. We have this smoker going, rolling around town in it with a couple of big banners on the side, something like smoking your meat or something like that, and having it smell delicious. Rolling down the road, we'd have like all these cars just following us.
We'd have to put some kind of sign up, eat at your own risk or something, because we're not licensed food handlers.
Bring your own meat.
Bring your own meat. BYOM.
BYOM.
NB.
NB.
Yeah, don't even.
Trying to think. Beverage. That's the one.
There you go.
All right. There's a B word.
Beverage. Meat and beverage.
Anyway. Man, I'm distracted. I'm thinking about awesome rabbit. Guess what I'm eating tonight? I've got my rabbits up and going now. We've got, there's 6 due on the 20th this month.
Nice.
Of January. And there's a whole slew of them due after that. Like 4 days in a row, those bucks went to bed happy and tired.
That's what they're supposed to do.
So we're gonna have rabbits coming out of my ears. I think there's about 64 out there now, and then 30 some babies somewhere around there.
Nice.
So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've got to get back into breeding a few more. So I'm a little low right now. I've got my bucks and my females, and they haven't been together for a while. So it was hot, and then it got busy.
It's like riding a bike, man. They'll know what to do. Just put them back
they
together.
know what to do. It's just a matter of me going out and letting them do it. So but 2015 is going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, the year started off with Will Allen, so we're well on our way.
That's called putting it on the right foot. Starting off on the right foot.
I got lucky getting him on, so.
Yeah, should we tell him the story on that? No.
That's all right. It's skill. Let's just put it that way.
Skill.
So if anybody has contacts to like Joel, I'd love that if we can get him on. So what do we got coming up this year? We got some new things we're going to be doing.
Yep.
We got some cancellations of things that I haven't told anybody about.
Yeah.
You want to start there?
Why not? We'll bust out the bad news first and talk about our new direction.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to go ahead and cancel the screening of the Food Patriots. And I know we've got a bunch of tickets sold. I'd love if you guys could still make a donation to the Gompers. They're a company that I love. I think they do wonderful work in the community. Really wanted to do this Food Patriot screening. We had scheduled the producer and Jeff to come on a while ago. Things got a little messed up and he wasn't able to make the time for it. So we didn't quite get that out. We had to push it back a little bit more, and then push it back again. And at this point, the movie is actually a little bit old, and we're still having some trouble getting the licensing together and going through all the red tape. And there's a few other movies out there I think we'd rather screen at this point.
Exactly. And plus,
you got Pump the Movie is out there. You got Fed Up. Will Allen's in that one too, I think.
I'll have to double check on that, but I think so. I thought I saw him in the previews.
And there was a new Bitcoin documentary that came out, just phenomenal stuff. So I think we're going to go ahead and postpone that. We're going to cancel that event completely. We're going to look at maybe doing some other screenings and working with maybe some other groups. If anybody's got other, community groups that they're doing this kind of stuff, we'd love to be a part of that and get maybe a little bit of help that way, help you guys help us. So, keep your ears open for things like that because we'd love to be involved.
Speaking of things like that, another reason why March 7th wouldn't have worked out so well is
6th.
6th?
I don't know.
It was 7th, I believe.
Okay.
I checked this, so
yes.
Trust me.
Okay, I trust you.
7th is a Friday. Why roll your eyes after saying you trust me? Come on, man. Jeez. I guess you do know
Regardless, it would be the same weekend.
Yeah. The 7th of March, we may be participating in this, but it's the Phoenix Grow Your Own Food Conference.
Yes.
Or Summit, I think he's calling it.
Okay.
Dear friend of ours, Greg Peterson is going to be putting that on, and hopefully we can play a role in that. We haven't put 2 and 2 together yet to know what exactly that'll be, but...
well, regardless, we're going to talk about it.
Exactly. He's doing a good thing, and we want to back him up.
Absolutely. A lot of you guys, if you have ever been to a Prepper Fest here in Arizona, you probably know who Greg is.
And possibly not. He's the man behind the curtain.
That's right.
He's the one pulling the strings, making things happen.
All those rooms and classrooms at the back that people go to, and they have these amazing speakers. That's Greg. Greg organizes all that
He's
stuff.
the wizard.
He's the wizard. So we're excited to be able to, regardless of what's happening with that. I don't know all the details yet. I don't know how we're going to be involved or even if we're going to be involved. But I know
we'll know by next episode.
Yeah, we're going to support that 100%. So we'll get you guys the information on it because it's just going to be phenomenal.
I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of looking forward to it, no, just kidding. Try and do a segue and it just fell on its face. Anyway, this week on the WeGrowOurs show, got a pretty special guest.
Yeah, we do.
Quite literally, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this man.
Good point. Good point.
Even with all of my other life decisions, none of those would have happened without this man. My dear old dad, Jerry Klein, is going to join us today. Not in studio, unfortunately. He's about 1,800 miles away.
In Wisconsin.
What was that?
I don't know. I said Wisconsin.
Try it again.
Wisconsin.
No, come on.
Is that not what I did?
That's it, but you were trying for an accent.
I wasn't trying for an accent. I was just
You were just naturally retarded? Okay.
I was accentuating this. I have this word thing.
You got a word thing?
Yeah. Sometimes I can't talk
incorrectly.
That well. That's right. I learned it from the best of them, you.
Oh.
All right.
Without further ado, let's have on Mr. Jerry Klein. Welcome back to the WeGrowOurs show. I actually have a family member on the line today. Roped him into this, almost literally. A man that taught me farming and, tried to anyways. And then I went and moved to a city, so I had to do my own thing.
You're farming rabbits. Same thing, just on a smaller scale.
That's right. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Jerry Klein. How you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Good. Well, today we'll talk a little bit about how to raise beef, and maybe towards the end we can talk about how to protect them.
Sounds good.
All right. I'm telling you what, farmers at 4 o'clock around here in Wisconsin, if you don't have it done, you wait till the next day because it's happy hour. There you have it.
Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious.
Whatever you say.
All right. The $1 million question, Dad. What's the name of your farm?
What is the name of my farm?
Yeah. Do you have some kind
Do
of...
I have to name it?
I don't know if you want to. I would just say it's the Klein Homestead. But they'll
All
get
right, Well, everybody at work calls me the dog farmer.
The dog farmer?
So, yes, because most of the time I have more dogs than I do cattle. But, that's it. Or I spend more money on my dogs than I do cattle.
Oh, we might be able to talk about that a little bit, too.
Okay, all right. No, basically, it's my farm. It's 193 acres, has 100 acres of pasture, and it handles about 40 beef cows, which can calve. I have 40 baby calves every year. So
and sometimes a few more,
operation.
Right? Sometimes you get that twin action.
Twins. Yeah, if you have twins, but there's problems at birthing too, So if you have 40 cows and you end up with 37 or 38 calves, you've had a pretty good year because you have coyotes, and then you got water runs through the farm. If you get a flood, hard rain, you can lose a calf. I've had just about everything happen here in 20 years.
Yeah, I remember when we first got started out there that not everything lined up, and a few rough times. Working a day job and then going home and farming at the same time. It made for some interesting combinations. Yeah,
lots of hours, and sometimes I have to say the first years were rough, and then all of a sudden the beef prices started changing, and it got really good, and it's climbing. It's at a peak right now. Lots of money in the beef industry.
What is beef per pound now?
Oh, let's see. A fat animal, you can get like $1.50 a pound. I know your Uncle Greg just sold 3 head, the biggest ones out of the lot, and he averaged $2,850 a piece.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a rabbit hit that kind of price, but I'm still working on it.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money per animal.
Yeah. Well, and let's see. One second.
How big do the I don't know how big cows get. So when you talk about $1.50 a pound, what are we talking here?
Greg was looking at some. He had some big animals. He had some beef that were going 1,600 pounds plus.
Wow.
And he had some Holsteins that were pushing 1,850 to 1,900 pounds.
Wow.
Which are, he actually got less money per pound because they were so huge.
More bone.
Well, that's also with the Holstein, right? Because they're kind of a big boned animal.
Right. A lot of waste.
Now you're raising Angus. What's the biggest Angus Angus steer you've sold or fat?
Well, I've had some push to 1,600 pounds, but it depends too how soon, how young they are when you put them on full feed. You can grow an animal to 2 years old and then fatten him and hit 1,600 pounds, or you can put him on feed at a young age and he'll be a finished animal at 1,250 pounds to 1,300 pounds. So you can kind of regulate that with your system that you got going. It depends. It's all about how much money you can gross off your farm in 1 year, whatever works for you.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the reasons I wanted to have you on today. Is there's a lot of people that have no idea what goes into making grain, making farming, and ultimately bringing beef to the table. Maybe we can just kind of go along a timeline. Let's say you start with a cow, pregnant, ready to give birth. What are like the major things you have to look at for? What's the process that you follow? When the baby hits the ground, take us from there.
Well, okay. First of all, you get your cows lined up. You either go buy your cows ready to have calves or whatever, and then you go from there. Calf hits the ground, you vaccinate him, you put ear tags in him, and after that mama, if she's a good one, she's going to raise you a 500 or 600 pound calf by the time fall shows up. And that's where she earns her money. she earns her keep is feeding that calf for you.
And that's you plan on them dropping late February, early March, or is it closer to April?
Well, with Wisconsin, I like to go around close to the 1st of April.
Okay.
Because then your spring is already very close and a lot better weather. Weather coming, as compared to February. But and then try to wean your calves off somewhere before Thanksgiving.
Dad, is it any coincidence that my birthday is April 1st?
Well, there's a lot of foolish things going on April 1st, and that's kind of when you showed up. And I don't know.
Oh man! All right, let's take it from there. So they're weaning off in fall. So they're born at what, 90 pounds, or what is it?
Yeah, they're born a beef calf, 50 to 90 pounds. That'll catch most of them.
And so by fall, they're hitting 400 to 500 pounds?
Yes, 500 to 600 pounds.
500 to 600. Okay.
And that's just from the mother's milk.
Yes, mother's milk and pasture. They're actually, when a calf gets a month old or so, he starts chewing on grass and actually by the time fall shows up, he's eating quite a little bit of roughage. And some guys actually put a creek feeder, and that's a different system altogether, but a creek feeder basically is like a steer stuffer that's gated off so the mothers can't get in there, but the calves can. So if they need to eat grain besides the mother's milk, they have another access of food and protein. So, and you can grow a bigger calf by doing that, which some guys believe in it. Me, I'm kind of like, if that cow is that good, I want her to raise the calf. Otherwise, she's going to hamburger, and I'll have a different cow there. That's kind of my belief. But everybody's got their own gig.
No, I'm with you there. Now, when you're tagging the calf, is that when you're also castrating, or do you wait until the fall when they're weaned?
You can do both. I wait until the fall because the testicles actually produce testosterone, which will make you a more muscled bull calf.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot. It's not huge because when they're that young, they don't really produce any until you get in that 450 to 500 pounds, and then they'll get a little bullish. But it's kind of how your setup works. If you got a chance to cut him when he's little, you know what? It's not a bad deal. But I leave the nuts in it, and we do the shoot work, and everybody gets banded and shots and pour on and everything at the same time.
Now, I remember a particular time when it didn't pay out in our favor to have 400 to 600 pounders in the shoot. I believe you and your brother Larry each caught hoof off the same animal, isn't that right?
Oh, that was about a 600-pound bull. Yeah, he caught us both and just about put us both down for the count. But we kind of, that was earlier in our career, and we actually learned how to use the chute. It has an apparatus that comes down over top of them and squeezes them down so they can't jump and kick. Well, we had to shoot for like 5 or 6 years and finally figured out how that worked. But anyway, after we were both almost ended up in the hospital, we decided to figure out how the shoot worked.
Then it's time to bust out the instruction manual.
Yeah, the pictures weren't all that clear, but we got her figured out after a while.
Now, doing shoot work, you're talking about pouring on. That's worming them, correct?
Yep, that's they've got really good wormer nowadays that will actually clean the animal up, all of the parasites and the eggs that are inside of them. Where in the old days you had to pour them and wait 14 to 21 days for the eggs to hatch, and then you had to pour them again. Now you can actually clean an animal up to be parasite free, which is a good thing. It's expensive, but so are the animals, so the more you can do for them, the better.
Okay. Now we've had conversations in the past, and a lot of our listeners are wanting an organic beef that's grass raised and all of that. But this is the system that's in play. This is conventional farming. You pour them, you clear them of parasites. Any worry that the residue from that sticks around and ends up in the meat, or you're pretty sure that works its way out?
Okay, you're pouring the animal at, and there are restrictions on these chemicals that you use. There's a waiting period, and I won't say exactly what it was. If I'm guessing, I'm going to say 40. If I pour them, you cannot sell an animal for kill for 45 days. So, because this stuff has to actually run through the bloodstream to kill parasites, and that all makes sense. It has to run through the animal. So that's one thing. There's restrictions on it, and I'm guessing at the 45 day. I think I'm right, but I'm just gonna let that one float around there. But you pour, when we pour these beef, you got to realize that's at 600 pounds. He's only 7-8 months old. He's going to be another year older before he's sold. Okay. So we've got a safety net there.
That's over. Then that's plenty of time. Now, at that same time, is that will those go back out to pasture, or are those ready to be on the lot for, like you were saying earlier, the steer stuffer? Which, yeah. Why don't you walk us through that? Because they're not ready for full feed. Then they're not ready to be in front of feed all the time.
Some guys, like these smaller animals at 500 pounds and 600 pounds, there's some guys will take them and put them on feed, and they will be a small, fat animal, smaller ribeyes, smaller cuts of meat, blah blah blah. But if some guys will take them and run a lot less hotter of a ration, it'll be a lot less grain, more alfalfa, more protein, and grow the animal. So then you go from having a 1,250 pound fat to a 1,450 or 1,500 pound fat. It depends on your operation and how. If you run small animals and you run them hard and fast, you run more of them. If you grow the big ones, you can come up with the same amount of money and run a third less animals. It's kind of whatever suits you. Okay. Now, like the calves that we're talking about at 600 pounds, sometimes a guy will buy them, and if he kicks them out into pasture, they will be, after they come off the pasture the next summer, he will probably pour them again, and clean them up before he feeds them out to fatten them.
What kind of grain do you feed them?
Mostly around here, there's different options, but corn is the biggest one. You've got distiller's grain from your ethanol plants. Mm-hmm. Guys use that. That's a high octane. It's a 20% feed, 20% protein.
And if I remember right, we had a guy that actually was teaching us how to distill or running us through it, and he told us a story that back in the day during Prohibition, that's how they would find out who had the stills, is whoever had the best cattle at the state fair, because they were raised on this stuff that didn't have any starches in it anymore, and it was all high protein, super concentrated, and the animals were filling out prettier.
I got you.
And I wonder if you need to worry about GMO or anything. If you use GMO grain, throw it through a distilling process, doesn't it kind of get rid of all the bad stuff? I don't understand GMOs enough, apparently.
Yeah,
well,
I don't think
genetically altered plants is what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So what do you think is the first GMO plant that ever was brought around in the United States that everybody thought was the greatest thing in the world?
I'd imagine it was wheat, but...
No, it was seedless grapes.
Ah.
Everybody loved it. You could smack down, chew them up a handful at a time, and never had a seed in your mouth. Everybody thought it was great. And did anybody start growing hair on their chest in the third grade from eating grapes? I don't think so.
Now, is that a GMO or is that a selective breeding?
That is a genetically altered plant. You can't, it's not normal for a plant
To not have
to
a
grow and not have a seed because it would grow itself extinct. So it was altered to be able to do that. So like I said, nobody had a problem with that, but so now we have corn plants that can produce all sorts of things. There's millions of things out there, but I do wonder about some of the things. If a bug or an insect will die from eating it, do I want to eat that?
That's kind of got when they're actually splicing into the genetic code the same chemical so that it produces the same chemical as Roundup, or it can be,
Well, it's Roundup safe, yeah.
Yeah, Roundup safe. And,
you know what? Roundup is from what they tell me, Roundup is kind of a safe, very safe chemical. But I'm worried about like the sweet corn, and they have this here. And you have sweet corn that not one single insect will touch it. And it does. It's picture perfect when you husk it out. Every kernel is perfect right to the end of the ear, and there's not a bug touched it all summer. I'm thinking, wow, do I want to eat this?
yeah, if the bacteria and the bugs don't want to eat it, it can't be all that good for us.
I've seen pictures of McDonald's burgers the same way.
Yeah, they're purty as well, but
yeah.
And this is, we're right on the, I guess, right now America's got some decisions to make. The general public of this country, we're being sold on GMOs that it's feeding the world, and then there's another group that's yelling that GMOs are murdering our babies, or there's studies on both sides. There's studies that back up both sides, and honestly,
they don't have the perfect answer yet.
Not yet, and we won't know. And that's what's scary is we don't know what they'll do.
And you don't know until it's usually too late. Mm-hmm. But I will say this, in not just my defense, but the people all the way around me, all of my neighbors, everybody that farms and produces grain and produces beef, hogs, it's all here. If we knew something was bad, I guarantee you it would stop producing it. That's the kind of people that farm.
Yeah, and that's the kind of people that I trust. They've got the 200 to 400 acre spreads, and
it's the farmers that feed the world. You know what? If you kill off your customers, it wouldn't be that good of a job, would it?
Well, see, and I think what people are concerned with is, besides just the GMO, is that we're moving this country into not the 200 and 400 acre guys, but the guys that are factory farming and producing, 5,000-6,000 cow or head, and they're not outside. They're not doing anything. I mean, look at I've been to dairy farms, and it used to be that these cows went out and they crossed the street every day, and we'd watch them because the school bus would be stuck. And nowadays they're all stuck in a building and a farm, and they've tripled or quadrupled the amount of cows, and they never leave the chute. And
you're exactly right. There's and that's there's a lot of big farms even in our area. Some of them, I'm going to say, as far as the milk cows, they're handled pretty well. I mean, they have to be. A dairy cow is not like a wild animal or a beef. A beef is a lot tougher, and they need their range. But a dairy cow, if you kicked her out into a lot of acres, the happy cow that can run everywhere, guess what? She'd probably die.
Oh, yeah. No, and I think my point is more that I trust you. I trust that you would stop farming if there was something bad happening. I don't trust that these large factory farmers have the only thing they're concerned with is the bottom line, and I don't think they care about what the bottom line will be in 5 years. They care about the bottom line today and today only.
Well, I do agree. They've gotten to be too huge. They use foreign help. It's kind of, It's different. It's something to swallow around here. I know, and it's happening here in Wisconsin. All your big dairies have gotten that way.
How do we go back to supporting someone like you instead of supporting the big guy? How can we make that differentiation? Is that a word?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not a wordsmith, but
I'm with you. I understood that, so it might not even be a word. I really don't know, because it's gotten, the bad things is it's gotten out of hand is they get the big farms, they pay them extra money because they produce more. And to me, a guy with just a 200-acre farm, that's wrong. Why should he get paid more money for his product because he can produce 25 or 30 times what I produce? To me, that's wrong. How you change it, I don't know.
Well, here's the question. Let's say you don't know me. I'm a friend of a friend. I show up and ask to buy a steer from you. Is there places that I could get it processed and maybe have 10 families come in and pitch in and buy something from you directly, or is that against the rules?
No. Actually, I've done that with fattening cattle. I took 8 or 9 head in and had 23 different families purchase a quarter or whatever. But basically what happens is I take the fat steers right from my place. I deliver them live to a processing plant, and then they come in and they put their cutting orders in on how they like their steaks and blah, blah, blah. And it's a little bit of paperwork, but I've done quite a little bit of it. It's a little cheaper. The only thing I say to the people is that if you don't use this all up because you're purchasing so much, then you're probably wasting your money. But if they grill out and they eat a lot of beef, they will be money ahead.
Yeah, and speaking from experience, I've obviously spent time on my dad's farm. These steers, he walks down there with a bucket, dumps it into the trough, and when they're done eating, they come up and get their ears scratched from them. I mean, they're treated. Oh, yeah. They're treated well. It's kind of funny. There was a conversation that took place. I wasn't there, but between my little sister and Dad, it's kind of said it's kind of.
I know where you're going.
Kind of screwed up. Here we are petting these things. We're gonna walk them into the slaughter facility.
Well, yeah, she was like, Dad, they're born here as babies. We take care of them. We give them shots. We feed them. We bed them down so that they're dry and clean. And she goes, in less than 2 years, we kill them. Well, that's why we're here.
But that's respect for the animal. And,
well, yeah.
I'm not a stranger to cows. I've been around them. We actually raised a few, nothing like what you did. And there's times you need a cattle prod to get the damn cow up because it won't get up. There's times that you have to go and it looks like you're beating your cows, but really you're doing things for their own good because you can't have them laying there. So
when you put them through the chute to give them their medicines and their pour-on, and, when you're doing that, they don't like it.
Right.
But you have to force them to do that so that you can take care of them. It's a healthy thing for them. No, they don't like it.
Well, and I think it's misunderstood because you see these videos out there. Somebody can go in with a video camera and take a picture of you poking the cow with a cattle prod because it's laying there, or you got to get the tractor to get it up, and they talk about how bad these places are. Yet that's part of raising and taking care of the animal at the same time. So I think people need to understand that. And,
Dad, do you even have a cattle prod around on your place?
Actually, we might use one when we're doing shoot work, but most of the time, when it comes to electricity, I don't like to use it unless you absolutely have to.
Sure, yeah, sure. And that was just an example. I mean, we didn't go around cattle prodding them every day either. Don't get me wrong.
I kind of want to have a cattle prod in my truck for traffic incidents.
Well, it's the same thing if you're raising your children. If somebody catches you at a bad time and films you when things aren't going so good, guess what? You're going to look like the nastiest person.
Man, I wish I had a camera,
Exactly. Oh, it can. Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. So you're out there on 200 acres, prime hunting ground, for you and a nemesis, the coyotes. Would you give us? We've got about 5 minutes left. I want to hear about the ventures in protecting the cattle.
Well, I got into the coyote hunting about 12 years ago by accident. Trained some dogs, and I've been doing it ever since. I've made some beautiful friends over the years just by, I didn't realize that when you turned a hound loose and you're going to chase a coyote that you could end up 20 miles from where you started. So I've made a lot of good friends. I've made a few enemies too. There's no sense in lying. But what I realized over the years that most of them that threw a fit only own 10, 12 acres, and so they can kiss my ass. We're going to run across their ground, and in 10 seconds, we're going to be out of there. So that's just the way I feel. But we've made a lot of friends, and we've killed a lot of coyotes over the years, and it helps the beef industry here because those things have acquired a taste for beef also, and they're hard on the calf herds, and they're hard on our deer herd also. They eat a lot of fawns. Mm-hmm. And anybody that likes to deer hunt, that fawn, that buck fawn never gets to grow a rack if he ends up drug in next to a coyote den. So we do a lot of good. I spend a lot of money on it. I've got 6 coyote hounds of my own. I spend a lot of money on hunting.
What kind of dogs are these? I mean, coyote hounds.
I've got from July as a breed, Trig black and tan cross, little running walker in there. I've got every blend that you can imagine, and they're good. The ones that I keep, the ones that I hunt, they earn their dog food, and they love their job.
Oh man!
So it's my wintertime sport, being as I'm laid off in the winter, and it works great with my job and my both of my jobs, I should say.
Well, Dad, I appreciate you coming on the podcast today, and we'll probably have to have you back on when I'm sure we'll get some feedback from the listeners, some questions and whatnot. And luckily, I got your cell number, so we'll have to have you back on.
All right. Well, I'd be glad to show up again and maybe help you out or whatever works, huh?
That sounds good.
Thanks.
Okay. All right.
That was a good interview.
That was a great interview. It's funny because the most genius things I've ever heard in my life were spoken around the tailgate of a truck. And that's why I wanted to do this interview, because my dad and his brothers probably could have fixed most of the world's problems and instituted world peace if they'd been in charge.
I bet.
Just because the stuff that just farm boys come up with.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's
well, he had to go because he ran out of beer. So
yeah, what you don't know is he was at the tavern while we were doing the interview. I don't know if we got that in there or not, but he said that farming stops when happy hour starts.
That's right. 4:00.
Oh my gosh!
No, very good.
No.
Good.
6:00 his time.
He said 4.
Did he? He'd been there for 2 hours?
Happy hour is,
oh my gosh,
a little early.
Dad, that's all right. Oh man. So now I'm all homesick and stuff. I've got a trip planned for February, so hopefully
there you go
back there.
You got to take some pictures so we can post them too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That 200 acres. I want 198.
198. Did he say?
I believe so. I'm not 100%.
I know there's
it's your place.
Well, I think it's 198. That's one that's stuck in my mind, but we'll ask him again. There's a spot taken out that was sectioned off by the previous owner, and then his son is still living there. So there's this one spot. Dad said as soon as that goes on the market, he's going to grab it.
Oh yeah.
I think in his words is, I don't want some asshole living there.
Can't blame him.
And then right after that, I asked if I could buy it from him at that point, and he was quiet. I don't know what that means.
I wonder why. Well, and he seems like he's a steward of the land and the animals.
Totally.
He may be a conventional farmer.
Yeah, he is.
But he cares about his animals. And that comes through very clearly.
I can't remember when exactly it was, but he talked a lot about taking care of the land. You're getting your living from it. You got to give back to it.
Yeah.
And he's doing everything in his power in the conventional method to grow good, healthy, respected animals and healthy crops as well.
Right. And he's the true farmer.
Yep.
He's the guy out there feeding the world.
Yep.
So I think we can do a little less factories and a little more of him.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be in a much better place. So
I think the world would be a little bit more dangerous, though, if there were many more Jerry Kleins. Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway.
So what else do we have coming up?
Well, we've started the consulting side of WeGrowOurs.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, you can go to WeGrowOurs.com and click on consulting.
I think it's / consulting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got kind of a 3-phase process that we're going to be doing with this. Each phase is independent, really, but you can't move on without the first.
Exactly.
So the first thing is you schedule an appointment to talk to Nick and I. We go over the plans and we give you a quote on what it's going to take to kind of get those plans together. And we're going to go through and we're going to help you guys plan and what?
No prices now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. We're going to go through and we're going to help you plan. We're going to help you design. We're going to help. I mean, this thing is in depth. We're not talking about,
We'll definitely go over your personal goals, what your production goals are, who do you want to be able to feed, how much you want to be able to produce, and walk you through the process, what you're really getting into.
Yeah. Over the last year, one thing this show has done is it has given Nick and I the tools and some contacts in this industry. We've been able to go around and find some of the best of the best. And let's say you have something you need for a coon pig. We know what those coon pigs need. And if we don't know it, we know who does. And that's really where this becomes powerful. Is we're going to go nationwide with this. We can consult across the world. We've got some permaculture experts. We've got some people that know their stuff that we're working with. So this isn't you buying a few hours with a couple of guys that think they know everything. We do. But this is really the contacts that we have, and we're going to put together a team around us that can help you guys.
We've already got some great people signed up. So
yeah. So look for that. Go to consulting. Just take a look at it. You can see that those 3 steps. Get a feel for what we're doing, and if you want to, there's a contact sheet right there. If you're interested in that, go ahead and contact. We've got some great shows coming up too. We haven't figured it out yet, but we've got them coming up. We're going to do some more shows on black soldier flies. I know that's been highly requested.
There's been a lot of requests to the black soldier flies, and now that we've got more experience with them, we can cover them a little bit more in depth.
Yep, we can tell you about what we've been doing with them.
Vermiculture.
We're going to talk, vermiculture. We've got a guy local that's big, raises all these worms. So we're going to try and get him on. I'm still looking for Joel, but one of these days. No, we're gonna have some other people on.
We'll try and pencil him in when he's got a second.
When he's got it, yeah. He's a busy man.
Yeah. Also, gonna take a little bit more time talk about the alternative fuels.
Absolutely.
Alcohol distillation.
Well, and
fermentation.
I think one of the things is that. And you guys know this from listening to us. One of the things that we're missing right now is video.
Yes.
And we're going to make a push soon to have that come, whether it be videotaping. I don't think you guys want to see us in the studio or the Situation Room on camera. I mean, great, we can put it on YouTube, and instead of listening to audio with a picture, you'd see us, 2 fat guys sitting around a boardroom. And
it's much more entertaining.
It just doesn't, when we have guests like people in, I don't want to name names. When we have guests in, I can completely understand you guys wanting to see videotape of that. And I think that's what we'll do with some of that. We'll do some of our interviews. But as we go out to these events, the Prepper Fests and the summits and the conferences, we're going to start doing more video. And we're really going to make a push to try and bring at least something monthly to YouTube or somehow to our website. So you guys can maybe even see some of these farms. When we're talking about a still that produces 1 million gallons, how cool would it be to have a tour of that, distillery and see how this is happening? And that's separate from the podcast. So we're going to make a big push on that. And I hope you guys can help us out with that when the time comes.
Yep. And also suggest what you'd like to hear from us and see from us.
Oh, yeah.
At WeGrowOurs.com/ask us.
Ask us.
Right.
That's our contact us page.
Okay.
You don't just contact us, you ask us.
You guys didn't see the fist pump and the drama that just happened across the table for me.
I didn't do a fist pump.
It was, okay, whatever that was, it was special. Anyway, maybe we shouldn't get a video camera here, because right after I made fun of you, I picked my nose. I don't think we need this on camera.
No, not that. That's what I said. When we have certain guests in, we'll put it on. We'll do the interviews when they come in the situation room. But yeah, people don't need to see us. It's all right.
All right. Well, should we talk about stage 2 and 3 of the?
No, you can go on the website and look.
Well, there
it's
you
all
go.
Written down.
Yeah, stop boring the good folks that are still listening.
Yeah, I'm not going to read all that. Yeah, go ahead and take a look. Also, check out when you guys go in. You know about the tag cloud. We covered that on the last episode. When you go in and you click on the episode from the homepage, you can play our podcast. But if you click on the episode, we've got a whole bunch of stuff we put in there. For example, with Wendell Allen, we did a whole bio on him. There's a downloadable bio there. There's links to his books on Amazon. If you're going to buy his books, buy it from that. That actually helps us support the show. There's some advertisements on there. We got to start doing that. And I know we haven't done much of it. When you go down and look through that, though, there's some links to small business shout outs that we do. Right now, we've got the charity transport. That's the gentleman here who gives the homeless vets and the people who don't have any rides to the VA, these veterans that have served us, he gives them rides for free over to the VA. So go check that out. And it's charity transport. Try and support him if you can as well. Even if it's just getting the word out there, and take a look. So make sure you go through and read those show notes in that blog under that episode, because we've got more than just the podcast on it. That's where we kind of put everything, some photos, some things to go along with it. And eventually we'll probably put some video in there as well. So go check that out as well.
We're waiting to get some video. We've got like 8 hours of video that we need to put up.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of classes. We did the homegrown, the homesteading conference?
Spring homestead conference.
Yeah, from last year. We've got some video to put up on that from the classes. And, we'll get that out there for you guys soon, too. So make sure you're checking that stuff out on the website.
Anything else?
I don't think so. WeGrowOurs.com.
WeGrowOurs.com. Facebook.com/WeGrowOurs.
Twitter.com.
And at
WeGrowOurs. And then we're also on YouTube. In fact, go look at the Minion video. I want feedback on it.
Yes. It's a quick link from Facebook, so that's where it's going to be.
Yep.
Or what's the
from YouTube?
But on YouTube, where is it?
Under WeGrowOurs.
You just search WeGrowOurs?
Yeah, just search WeGrowOurs.
Things
go
are
to
so
YouTube.
Easy.
YouTube.com/WeGrowOurs. And then look for the Minion video.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Now y'all got directions. Follow them. All right, folks. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll catch you next time.